The project portfolio management involves organizing and managing projects and programs as a portfolio of investments that would contribute to the success of the enterprise. And the portfolio managers help the organizations to make investment decisions that are wise, and they do this by selecting and analyzing projects from a perspective that is strategic. Now, this figure shows the project management as compared to the project portfolio. The project portfolio management is expected to achieve goals that are strategic, while the project management aims to achieve goals that are tactical. Now, there are questions that come to mind when handling the project portfolio management. Are you working on the right projects? Are you investing in the right areas? Remember that you have to be strategic, as this is handled from a strategic perspective. Okay, so you have to ensure that you're investing in the right areas, and you should also make sure that the right resources that are needed to have a competitive advantage over your competitors are available. So these are the three questions that should come to mind. Are you working on the right projects? Are you investing in the right areas? And do you have the right resources to be competitive? And then the questions that should be asked when it comes to the project management are that: are you carrying out the project well? Are you utilizing the right methods, tools, processes, and techniques? Okay, are the projects on time and on budget? Do you have the right funding for this project? And are you able to meet the time that has been set out for this project? And then, do the project stakeholders know what they should be doing when it comes to handling this project? So these are the different questions that should be asked when you are dealing with the project portfolio management and the project management. Now, talking about best practice. Best practice has to do with the best possible ways or methods that are recognized by an industry to achieve their goals. Okay, a best practice is the optimal way or best possible way that is recognized by an industry to achieve their goals or objectives. Now, Robert Buttrick suggests that organizations should follow basic principles of project management, and there are two that have been mentioned in this chapter, and it is your strategy and engaging your stakeholders. You have to ensure that you are driven by your strategy, and then you should make sure that the project you are undertaking fits your business strategy. So that way, projects that are unwanted can be done away with. And then your stakeholders should be engaged. If you ignore your stakeholders, it could lead to the failure of that project. So you should ensure to engage stakeholders at every stage of a project. And then teamwork should be encouraged at all times. Teamwork and commitment should be encouraged at all times to make sure that that project succeeds. Talking about organizational project management. So what is this about? It is a framework in which portfolio, program, and project management are integrated with organizational enablers in order to achieve strategic objectives. Now, breaking it down, organizational enablers are those practices that can be leveraged or taken advantage of to support the implementation of best practices in portfolios, programs, and projects. I'll repeat that. The organizational enablers are those practices that we can take advantage of to support the implementation of these best practices that we have talked about in portfolios, programs, and projects. Now, these figure shows the sample project portfolio approach. As you can see, the overall project portfolio categories have been shown, and IT was used to give an example. Now you can see that the IT project portfolio categories has further been broken down. You have to transform the business, and then you have to grow the business as well as run the business. Now if you pay attention, you would see that these have been grouped into discretionary cost and non-discretionary cost. Transforming the business and growing the business are grouped under the discretionary cost, while running the business has been grouped under the non-discretionary cost. Now, what are discretionary costs? These are costs that are avoidable. They are costs that can be curtailed or eliminated in the short term without the profit of the business being affected. The profit of the business will not be affected if these costs have been curtailed or eliminated. They are avoidable costs, but you cannot say the same for non-discretionary costs, as there is no choice on whether to fund the business or not. Of course, to run a business, you need money. So it is non-negotiable. So this is how these two groups are different. Now, the project managers, we have talked about project managers from the beginning of this chapter, and we can see that project managers are very important as they play a key role in helping projects and organizations to succeed. So they must work closely with the other stakeholders on a project. The stakeholders, like I mentioned earlier, are the people that are part of a project, people that are involved in or being affected by that project. Now, the project managers must work closely with these stakeholders, especially the sponsor and project team. The sponsor is also a stakeholder. Remember that the sponsor is the one who funds and decides the direction of a project. Now, there are different job descriptions of a project manager. The job descriptions vary, but most of these descriptions include responsibilities like planning, scheduling, coordinating, as well as working with other people to achieve the project goals. So the project management is a skill that is needed in every major IT field. It doesn't matter what field it is, but every major IT field requires the project management skill. Whether it's a database administrator or a network specialist, you need the project management skill. As a young professional, if you are looking to go into project management, you should ask yourself a few questions to know if you would be a good project manager. And some of these questions are: do you get frustrated by bad bosses? If you've ever worked under somebody, how did you handle your boss? If you worked under a boss that was bad, do you think if you found yourself in a position where you have to become a boss, do you think you would do a better job? And then, do you find that you are interested in understanding the bigger picture of how organizations work and how your individual work or your projects fits in? Do you understand how these work hand in hand? Have you ever had other leadership roles in any area of life, whether you were captain in a team or you were a club president or whatever it is? Have you owned a business that you had to lead people that you employed, and while you were leading this team of people or this business or whatever it was, did you enjoy it? Did you think you did a good job? Are you good at mentoring people? Do people ask you for help when they are trying to develop skills, or when they are trying to get your advice or on what to do? Do people come to you to seek help? Are you good at mentoring others? So these are a few questions that you should ask yourself if you would want to, if you know you want to venture into the project management field. However, there are suggested skills for project managers. Okay, so these are some of the suggested skills. You have the project management body of knowledge. So the project management body of knowledge is a document that contains some standard best practices, terminologies, and process guidelines around project management. I'll repeat that. The project management body of knowledge is a document that contains standard best practices, terminologies, and process guidelines around project management. And these guidelines, these best practices, these terminologies have been defined by the Project Management Institute, which we will talk about as we progress in this chapter. Okay, so the others mentioned are also suggested skills for project management, for project managers, sorry. So you need to have soft skills, not just hard skills. As much as you need hard skills, you also need soft skills. You need human relation skills and others as mentioned in this chapter. So there are 6 traits that a highly effective project manager should possess. You should be a strategic business partner. You should understand what you are doing, understand the strategy of the organization. You should know what you want, know the goal that you are aiming to achieve. Okay, you should encourage the contributors and recognize the valuable contributions that they bring to the table. You should respect and motivate the stakeholders that are involved in that project, and etc. etc. We have the Project Management Institute triangle. This talent triangle is an ideal skill set for project managers. The Project Management Institute talent triangle is an ideal skill set for project managers. And this triangle consists of areas such as the technical project management skills, the strategic and business management skills, as well as the leadership skills. There are different types of leadership styles, and they include the laissez-faire, transactional, servant leader, transformational, charismatic, and interactional. The term laissez-faire means that you should let people do as they choose. It is a French word which means letting people do as they choose. So it is a type of leadership style that where leaders allow their followers to have the autonomy to make their own decisions and manage their own affairs concerning the business. For example, let's say you are a businessman. You own your own company, but you decide that you want to invest in another company that you know is solid and has a good management team. And then you invest in this company, but you stay off and allow them to decide how to manage that business. You allow them to make the decisions that concerns that business. You do not intrude. So this is what the laissez-faire is about. So you can read more. You can read up more on the other types of leadership styles. There are different careers for the IT project managers. There has been a survey that has listed the project management among the 10 hot tech skills. So you find that no matter the role that you have decided to stay in, you will need the project management knowledge and the skills to help you and your team as well as your organization. So these are the different careers for IT project managers, from being a full stack software developer, or whether you're in the project management, cybersecurity, networking, and so on and so forth. So all these are careers for IT project managers. Now, talking about the project management profession, it is one that continues to grow. It has been evolving as time goes on. Okay, so we need to understand the history of the project management profession and the roles of professional societies like the Project Management Institute, which I have mentioned earlier, and also the growth in the project management software. So some people may argue that the Egyptian pyramids was a project. You may as well call it a project. Even the Great Wall of China can be argued that it is a project. So if you look at these, you would see that these things have been built many years ago, long time ago. So you would see that projects have been going on from many years ago. The difference now is that the processes, the methods, the tools, the techniques, and the technology that is being used to carry out project management has advanced. There is now an advancement in it. So this shows this sample Gantt chart shows a project software development plan template from 2016. So if you zoom into it, you would see that it is showing the plan for a software development. It shows the scope of the project, the design, the analysis and the software requirements, the testing, and etc. So many companies have been creating project management offices, and they did this to help them handle more projects. As the number of projects began to increase and become even more complex, companies had to start creating project management offices. A project management office is an organizational group that coordinates the project management function in an organization. This figure shows the percentage of organizations with project management offices by size according to their sizes. There are several global dynamics that have forced organizations to have a rethink about their practices, and these dynamics have resulted in global issues. Okay, so the talent development for project and program managers is a top concern. Remember that we talked about project managers having some competencies in certain knowledge areas. And then organizations want to use more agile approaches to project management. The agile methodology is a way to manage a project by breaking it up into several phases. So it involves the constant collaboration with stakeholders and the continuous improvement at every stage. So once the work begins, the teams cycle through a process of planning, executing, and evaluating. So like I said, the agile methodology is a way to manage a project by breaking it up into several phases. And then there is a benefits realization of projects, which is also a key metric. Still on the Project Management Institute, it is an international professional society for project managers, and it has attracted a huge number of members worldwide. And the project management research and certification programs is an area that has continued to grow. You can become a member by joining the Project Management Institute with a fee, and then you can earn a certificate in project management by becoming a certified associate in project management certification. Okay, so the PMI provides certification in different areas of project management. So you become a project management professional once the certification has been provided. So to become a project management professional, you must have some project experience that is sufficient, and then you would have agreed to follow a code of ethics, and as well, most importantly, passed the exam that certifies you to become a project management professional. The figure shows the growth in the project management professional certification between the years of 1993 to 2017. And then every area has their own set rules. and code of conduct that guides them. So the project management is not left out. It has its own ethics. As we all know, ethics are a set of principles that guides how we make decisions based on our personal values of what is right or wrong. So in order to earn this PMP certification, the applicant must have agreed to the Project Management Institute's Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct. Remember, in earlier slides, we talked about the project management body of knowledge, which I defined as the document that contains the best practices, terminologies, and guidelines around project management. And these were defined by the Project Management Institute. So when you are taking the project management professional exam, some of the questions are related to these ethics. They are related to the professional responsibilities as well as the ethics. There are a whole lot of different products that assist in performing project management, and there are three main categories of tools. You have the low-end tools, the mid-range tools, and the high-end tools. The low-end tools are used to handle the single or smaller projects, while the mid-range tools handle multiple projects and users. Microsoft Project is the most popular of these type of tools. And then there is the high-end tools that are also known as enterprise project management software, and they are often utilized on a per-user basis. They're often licensed rather on a per-user basis. And of course, there are the free, also known as open source tools that are available. So these are the different categories of tools that can be used, the different categories of software that can be used for project management. And this is the end of this chapter.